Okay, guys. I wanted to just get everybody together, kind of go over. Were any of you on the Monday night call? Did any of you get on there?
Yes.
No? Were you guys able, if you weren't able to get on there, were you able to listen to the recording at all?
Not yet.
I would highly suggest it. It's a phenomenal call with Carrie, just kind of talking about getting out of her own way. She's been a coach a little longer than I have, and it took her pretty close to 2 years to hit diamond, and it was basically talking about what she did to transition from being kind of an emerald just there as a coach to moving to a diamond, and really it was just a change of mentality. So I'd highly suggest it if you haven't been on there. Are all of you going to go to a Super Saturday? If you're not sure yet, I would highly suggest that also. Every time you're surrounded by people in the Beachbody family, like, you get beyond motivated. You come around with ideas, you come out with ideas. A lot of them actually run workouts. So look into that if you're not sure, so that you know if you need to bring workout clothes or wear them. The Super Saturday that I'm going to, we're actually going to do P90 and Insanity Max 30. So I plan on vomiting by the end. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. Rachel, are you ready for that? Because you're going to be there too.
I'm coming to that one, Erin. I'll get to meet you for the first time.
Oh, perfect. And I have your shirt too.
Oh, cool.
Right? Don't I have your Fit and Peer shirt? I think I do.
I think so.
Yeah, you do.
Carrie did a couple of them, so I'm pretty sure that I do. And then also I wanted to make sure that everybody has on their forefront to register for the Fall Classic. If you don't have a partner for that, start posting to the wall so we can start pairing people up. I'm slowly going down through my personally sponsored coaches and making sure people are paired up. So just make sure that you do that. Again, it's just an added motivator for the month, just to make sure that you can push yourself just a tiny bit more. And I'm trying to think of what else. Summit. Are any of you guys on the waiting list for Summit?
I am.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so what they told us about Summit, let me look through my notes so I make sure that I cover all of the little pieces of what they said. One, they are issuing refunds. Before they were not going to, but they are going to be doing refunds now. Second, they're going to be slowly releasing people off the waiting list. They're planning on accepting 25,000 people to Summit, and there's 15,000 registered right now. So how they're going to do it is a rolling release. So check your email weekly. It's going to be coming from an email address that is something that says eventswedge.com. And they're going to send the invite via email. You have 1 week to respond to that email. If you don't, it's your spot. So it's super important that you make sure that you do that. Just keep checking your email, okay? They're saying right now that everybody should be getting into Summit, that it shouldn't be a problem, but they just have to release it slowly so that they can adjust based on the response of who accepts, who rejects, and so on. What they're doing different in compared to previous years is they're going to make us sign up for workouts. You're not going to be guaranteed to get into every single workout. They are saying that everybody should get to at least one trainer workout, but they're trying to avoid the mad rushes. People would be signing up for workouts starting at 2 or 3 a.m. It was absolutely ridiculous, and people weren't getting into workouts. So they're trying to adjust crowd control there. The other piece, they're also going to be doing a 2-track system. So there's going to be an A track and a B track. So us as a team, we are going to be deciding if we're going to be on the A track or B track. So A track might start with individual breakout meetings and then go to a just session, and then vice versa for the other groups, so that 25,000 people aren't trying to move in the same direction at all times. So Carrie and I are going to track we're going to be, and then we're going to, as soon as you have the opportunity to pick your track, we're going to try to get into it so that we can all be still a group. That won't matter. And the other thing that if you were there last year is making sure that when you do get into the breakout sessions, we're going to be sitting in the same room, stay there, and the speakers are going to be changing rooms. Last year, the speakers stayed in the room, and 7,000 people were trying to move to a new room, and it just became like everybody bumping into each other. So they're really trying to adapt to everything. If you are at the Gaylord or the Omni, I know I have a room over at the Gaylord. they're going to be running workouts there. They're also going to have registration there. So there's, you're not going to be left out if you're at that hotel. I think that we're going to have a big group at both locations. So don't worry about that. And don't worry if you're on your waiting list. Everything should be fine. It's just going to take time. Just keep an eye on your email. And I'm pretty sure that is it. Oh, if you are a Success Club starter, or if you have new coaches that do sign up and hit Success Club the first 3 months, they're guaranteed to take it no matter what. They're go ahead of anybody who's on the waiting list. So that should be still a huge motivator for any new coaches that come on board. So I thought that was pretty awesome. I was still concerned about the crowd control issue because last year wasn't much fun because we pretty much got shoved around. And I wasn't pregnant. I don't know how Courtney did it. Okay, so I also wanted to talk to you a tiny bit about the leadership trip. And if you don't know much about the leadership trip, it was pretty much 100% paid for. I paid for zero money out of pocket. They sent me, or they're going to be dropping into my account this pay period, $300 towards travel. And I mean, my flight was like $150 maybe. So I actually made money on the trip. My hotel was for free because of hitting Success Club, and registration was free. So, as well as all the meals. And so I pretty much just had to show up. And what it was all about is it was a mini summit. They had all the top coaches talk to every single one of us. We did meet and greets where we actually sat down and did, like, it was speed dating essentially. It was kind of crazy. I mean, people like Tracy Morrow, who is like our super top coach, is doing speed dating with us coaches, you know. And so that part was fantastic because you just had an opportunity of like really just intermingling. But there were no badges. There was no rank identity. So unless you knew who they were, really it was everybody just hanging out. There was probably a total of 400 coaches there. And so some of the coaches that talked were Scotty Cobb, Janelle Summers. And what they did is they talked about specific topics such as being a good leader, time management, how do you get your vision for your team, how to push people to the next level, all of those basic things. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to compile all of that into kind of a combination of PowerPoint, because I took pictures of every single one of their slides. I just don't want to take up too much time tonight. And then kind of a write-up about what kind of the key points were that they talked about. But essentially my takeaways were, they're just like us. They really are. They have trouble with time management. They have trouble balancing everything, but they find a way to make it work. They do. And the biggest one that I kind of took away from probably 3 different people. First one was Janelle Summers. She stood up there and she was essentially in tears. She was talking about her 3 priorities. Her number 1 priority is her family. Family comes before anything, because if her family isn't balanced, then everything else falls apart. Her second priority was her health and well-being, and her third priority was her business. And so she isn't afraid to hire for help or do whatever she needed to do to help take some of the tasks of her business off of her plate. But that I took away with, I need to make sure that I have time for my family. So if that means that 1 day a week I have to unplug completely, I'm going to do that. I'm going to find a way to make sure that everything is balanced. The second big one that we had a keynote speaker, and his name was actually DeWitt Jones. He's a photographer with National Geographic. And when he first came out onto stage, everybody had the same thought. We're like, what does this guy have to offer to us? Like, how can we relate to this? And this one saying is probably the one that I'm going to be posting on my wall so that I look at every single day. I used to be the person, and still am, I have to kind of change my mentality a little bit, of I will believe it when I see it. I used to tell Carrie Legault all the time, can you share your pay checks? Can you show me your back office? I want to see the numbers. I want to believe that that's where I'm going. And DeWitt pretty much told us that if you believe it, you will see it. So he would go out every day looking for places to shoot. And, you know, he would be looking at an angle and he'd just have to sit and think and wonder if he was going to be open enough to see the vision of what he's going to shoot that day. And so he would take a single shot and he'd show it to us in 5 different angles. And then all of a sudden he'd get the shot. It'd be something as simple as like a weed on the ground. And it was like he'd change the angle, and then he'd shoot from underneath it. And with the sun, like the shot would be phenomenal. And so the premise of all of it is essentially, are you going to believe what's going to be happening to you? Are you going to be open enough to see it? Are you going to be patient enough to see it? And just really just changing your mentality a little bit there. So I don't know, for me, that was just pretty awesome. And some of the others, I'm trying to think, I don't want to kill you with too many things, because what I'll probably do is post one person a day with kind of their slides and a little bit of what they were saying, so that you have time to absorb it. Because they essentially each talk for like 3 to 5 minutes. So it was really quick, a bit amount of, but an enormous amount of information. And I'm trying to think of what else. No, those are pretty much the big ones, because I'll type it all up for you. But I guess, what types of questions do you guys have? Do you have any questions about how kind of leadership stuff is run? I know that they threw out the reward that if you hit 2-star between now and the end of the year, they're going to be doing another elite trip in January. So they're going to be repeating a lot of kind of what we just had. But if we already went, we can't go again. And then leadership next year is going to be for 5 stars and above, and it's going to be in Coronado, California. So it's there's definitely a lot of rewards there. But the same types of things will happen on the Cancun trip. Hopefully you guys are hitting Success Club, and if you did sign up for the Cancun trip, or if you haven't, get on the waiting list there. You don't have to accept it. You can always get on the waiting list and decide once you get off the waiting list. But with their hitting Success Club, you'll get money towards the trip as well. And so take advantage of this stuff. I never went on vacation, so the idea of going away and just hanging out with Carrie and Megan and dressing up for parties and just hanging out and having glasses of wine with them and just chatting about our businesses and where we want things to go, or our dreams, or even family life, even non-business related stuff. But if you guys have questions, feel free to type it on the side. But the big stuff I wanted to make sure you guys knew about were Summit, and kind of putting on your radar with things that you guys should be looking at in terms of the Super Saturdays and the Fall Classic. Do you have a link to register for Cancun? No, but I will. I'll post it up on the wall. I'll look for it, okay? But definitely register. Again, you don't have to accept it until they tell you you're off the waiting list. And people are always falling off the waiting list because things come up, they don't know if they can go or not. But it's in April. How do we pay for that? Is it earned? So yes, so what, you get $1,000 towards travel. And so for every Success Club point you get, it's $10. I'm trying to remember the exact date of when it started. So if you register for Cancun, it'll back credit you for Success Club points. So for every $10, that's where like Team Cup months are crazy because people have already maxed out their dollars. But the $1,000 is the maximum amount you can earn. And so that'll go towards anything you want, flights, all that stuff. It's all based off Success Club points. So it goes back to January? Okay, perfect. Anything else? Dates, Cancun, there's the link. Yeah, Cancun 2015. The dates, I think it's like April, I want to say it's like 19th. Hold on, I have it in my calendar. Let me look. There it is, Marina, 16th through the 19th. Because I know I originally wanted my, January was 2 times the points, that's correct. January 2-star trip to qualifying. Hold on, sorry, it's not all there. Rachel, I think you have to be qualified for, I think you have to hold rank for 6 weeks, for the last 6 weeks of the calendar year. So I think it's around Thanksgiving that you need to have qualified for. Courtney's saying by 12/31. I'll look into that. I'll let you know, Rachel, exactly when it is. That's for the 2-star trip. because what happens when you hit star ranking, you actually have to hold the rank for 6 weeks before you're actually a true star diamond or 2-star diamond. And so that's what they're asking, is if you can be in the qualifying or if you actually have to be qualified. So I'll confirm, Rachel, and I'll get back to you on that one. What else? For the 5-star trip. The 3- and 4-star people, you won't be able to go on a trip next year. I don't know if they're going to open it up to be able to take guests. My guess is they're trying to limit the amount of people. So yes, 5-star, be 5-star so that you can go on the trip. But they're trying to make sure that there aren't too many people. They want to keep it intimate, and they made this one a little bit more difficult as well, because this past elite trip, you need to be 2-star and above, and even to bring a guest, they had to be 2-star and above. Where the year prior, you just needed to be 2-star, and I could take anybody that I wanted. You know, so it could be an up-and-coming coach or somebody you think's earned it. What is it? And who eats it? So you go diamond. Oh, Rachel. You guys are all seeing this chat, right?
Sorry, I'm trying to answer questions because you're answering. I'm trying to answer chat questions as you're talking, so we can.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. No, that works. But yeah, so I mean, as you move up ranks, more and more opportunities are going to be coming in front of you. And what we keep talking about is when you get to the ranks of essentially 2-star and above is when you start getting invited to a lot of the more intimate things where like you start getting inside information. We got to experience the 21 Day Fix Extreme. We got to hang out with the trainers. I mean, the first night I saw Shanti and I went up to him and he's like, only 2 more photos. And I'm like, oh, I'm the second one, right? And he's like, absolutely. And you know, and you just got to just hang out with them. And so my session will end in 10 minutes. And so it was just cool. It's, you know, it's just laid back and everybody's just as human as we are, kind of. So if you add another star for every diamond. Okay, so same way with hitting star diamond is if you're hitting emerald, okay? So in order to be a 1-star, you can have 1 on one leg. But to be a 2-star, the other star diamond has to be on the opposite leg. For 3-star, it doesn't matter. Obviously, you can have 2 and 1. 4-star, you can actually also have 3 and 1. But to be 5-star, you have to be 3 and 2. I have all of these pictures. I will upload them into our team page so that you can see kind of the rankings and the requirements for it. As well as you move up the ranks, you need to have X amount of personally sponsored coaches as well. So that continues to increase as well. I think it's for 2-star, you have to have 14 personally sponsored active coaches. And so I will post all of it because I'm a visual person so that you can see it. So I'll post as many as I can up there so you can see it. Yeah, I think it's 12. But for, I think you're right, Courtney. It could be 12. But you always need buffer coaches because you're always going to have somebody fall inactive. You never want that to happen. Yes, they will do refunds for Summit. So if you get off the waiting list and then, yes, absolutely. And I think it's because there's such a demand and there's so many people trying to get into Summit, they said they absolutely will do refunds for it. So you can play that by ear. Yes. There's a lot of people trying to make babies right now. I just, like, you know, it's kind of funny. Baby syndrome. Rachel, you want to be pregnant. You just need to get the husband on board. Okay, any other questions? Because I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. Just not yet, Marina. Someday. Courtney. It could be contagious. It could be. I'm sorry for people who are going to listen to this recording because you can't see the chat going on. But yeah, so if you guys have any other questions, post it on the wall. I will post the pictures tonight of the diamond ranks and the qualifications for all of that. And then over the next week, I'm going to post the slides and kind of write up about each one of the talks so that each day we'll get a little piece of kind of what I listen to. I just don't want to throw it all to you guys at one time because then you can't really absorb it. And then we can discuss each one of them. Okay? That sound good? wedding, 5.5 months. Let's make it happen. Okay, guys, you have a good night. And yeah, we'll do this again sometime soon.
Okay.